Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the show. Today is Thursday, the 13th of May, 2021. Thank you for tuning in. Glad to have you guys here. Now, first thing we're going to get started this morning, we're going to get right in there. We're going to open up the charts right here. And we've went over to Zero Hedge. Colonial Pipeline, it says, paid hackers $5 million in ransom hours after attack. And they paid in cryptos, I guess, from what I gather. If that's true, I haven't confirmed that that's true, but if that's true, if they did really pay the hackers $5 million in ransom, this opens up a huge can of worms. And the implications of that, that for hackers, that would be a big score, and it's going to be more hackers come along into thinking, hey, we can get in on a big score like that too. And the center of this can of worms is the cryptocurrencies, because it can make a seamless, it doesn't bode well for the cryptocurrencies, if they can be used for things like that, this bodes for more regulation stuff, to make it so that the cryptocurrencies can't be used for illicit activities, and it doesn't look good for cryptocurrency. Let's put it this way, it opens up multiple cans of worms, this whole thing, really. Let's take a look at something else here. McDonald's and Amazon are going to hike their wages to lure in more workers back into the labor market. And Amazon is going to pay like $17 an hour. And they're trying to bring people in, to the workforce. They're offering other incentives too, try to bring workers back into the workforce again. Meanwhile, we got all these people. We got I think it's something like 16 million or something people who are on the dole right now, who are collecting from the government, not working, but don't expect that to continue in forever. They're going to start pushing people back to work again now at this point. That's what's coming. So I'm going to tell you. Anyway, there's another thing I want to look at here. U.S. producers' prices. Now, this is an important one right here. U.S. producer prices. Look at this spike here on the end. It's going straight up. It hasn't stopped. It's going straight up. And this chart goes all the way back, for way back into the 1900s, this chart. We've never seen a spike like this before. And, basically what's happening is, if we look down here, we can read that this jump in prices is it's like over 6%. Where did I read it here? Look at it. Look at it spiking right up. Look, this going to the moon. This is the cost of producing things, Now, I'm going to tell you, if it's like 6 or 7% per year, what they do is they will pass that cost on to the consumer. And this is a bigger determinant of what your price of your inflation is going to be, because not only will they pass that 6 or 7% on to the consumer, what exactly was it here? What percentage? I was reading it here. Let me look here. Where is it? Maybe it's in the headline. Says it's well ahead of the PPI. Here it is right here. 6.2% year over year. Right there in blue. 6.2%. So the PPI, producer prices, exploded 6.2%. Now, when they pass that on to the consumer, they're not going to pass on 6.2%. That's not the way a retailer works. What they'll do is they'll add on a couple more percent on top of that, just for good measure, so they're going to make out good, So you get 6.2% rise in consumer prices across the board for creating products. Producer prices, they're going to probably pass on a 9%. So that's a 9% inflation. And we're getting into some serious inflation's going to be coming because the price it costs to produce something goes up. Of course, they're going to pass that on to the consumer. That's a no-brainer. Let's get in there and take a look at silver today. Silver is starting to creep upwards a little bit, but gold and silver right now, when you compare your dollars and what your dollars can purchase and how much they purchased in the past, gold and silver's never been cheaper than it is right now. It's really, really cheap right now, as far as what your dollars buy. Like, yeah, I know silver was like $3 an ounce, but what would your dollar buy back then? Far more than a dollar. Dollar don't buy nothing now. It's going to get a lot worse, Now, I want to just talk about this just for a second. Give you guys my idea on this. I don't think you're going to get really rich on gold and silver, but I think you're going to protect your purchasing power. What I mean by that is, you might even double your purchasing power, or even quadruple your purchasing power. Where the fiat currency, picture if one guy's got $1,000, okay, right now. So his $1,000 purchase $1,000 worth of what you can buy with $1,000 right now. So he leaves his money in the bank. The other guy's only got $100. He goes out and he purchases a couple ounces of silver, maybe 2 or 3 ounces or whatever, whatever he can get, right? Now, in the future, maybe 2 years or a year and a half from now, we got to examine these two guys. A guy that kept $1,000 in the bank. He's still got his $1,000 in the bank, but his $1,000 is only going to purchase now a minuscule amount of stuff. Where if he had spent it on silver right now, he could have bought quite a bit. But no, he didn't. He kept it in the bank. Now, his $1,000 will only buy like 1 ounce of silver, for crying out loud. And the guy that bought the silver, he's got his purchasing power. What he could purchase with that money he had at the time he bought the silver has been rescued for him. It's been carried over into the future. So now he can still sell that silver off and get enough dollars to buy the equivalent, maybe a lot more, than he did back when he originally purchased the silver. Gee, I didn't say all that real good. That's kind of confusing for you guys. How can I make it not confusing is if you put your money in precious metals now, it's going to do its job. Its job is to preserve your purchasing power. Where the fiat currencies, the purchasing power of them is going to continue on this trend that's been on for like 100 years, where it purchases less and less and less and less and less, and it takes more and more and more and more fiat to purchase the same things. This is increasing really fast. Now, cryptocurrencies, you can get rich off of cryptocurrencies, but by gosh, you're taking an awful risk with them. Because you want to talk about volatility. I see these guys, and they'd say, oh, the silver's so volatile. If you're up for that volatility, I don't see silver being not much more volatile than gold. It's not that volatile. It doesn't have these huge price swings to the up and down side, much more than gold. It's quite a stable asset class. When you compare it to cryptocurrency. Cryptocurrency is like a I can't think of an analogy to tell you the truth, how cryptocurrency can bounce up and down so quick. You buy it today, it could lose 50% overnight. You wake up the next morning. Or it could be up, it's all over the place, cryptocurrency. Silver's stable compared to cryptocurrency. Seriously. Okay, let's take a look now at cryptocurrency. Speak of the devil. Okay, it's at 22.72 today. It took a tumble. Now, you watched yesterday, you see what happened with the market. Market fell out of bed yesterday, right? I wasn't on here like all these other guys screaming, oh, market crash, market crash. No, I realized it was some sort of little bit of, it was, anyway. It's past now today. But the thing is you watch what it did? Cryptocurrency took a big tumble. Gold and silver took just a little bit. But not like cryptos. Cryptos really got whacked. And this should be a sign for you guys. If the Fed does something like if they decide to tighten monetary policy, can you imagine what the market will do then? If it did what it did yesterday on nothing, basically, you know, can you imagine what the market's going to do if the Fed decides to tighten? Okay. What will cryptocurrency do? Well, you saw an illustration yesterday of what crypto will do. And you also saw an illustration yesterday. It's almost like a little test. You do a little test, to see what'll happen. That's what yesterday was like. And we see what happened. We see gold and silver fell just a little bit. Cryptocurrency fell a lot. The markets fell a lot. Well, what if the markets really fall in the future at some point? Say the Fed decides to tighten. Well, we're going to see cryptocurrency really get pounded. It shows that it's more of a speculative thing, cryptocurrency, rather than gold and silver is a store of wealth. And it's much more secure, your gold and silver. Now, you can get rich off of cryptocurrency, but you got to be very careful because it's got a lot of volatility. Wow. Okay, let's move on to the Dow today. 34,140. It's up 552 points on the day, or 1.65% up. So it basically it's just made a round trip. Went down 600 points yesterday, goes up 600 points today. It's just up, up, down. It's just part of the volatility of the Dow Jones. But ultimately, if we continue to go into hyperinflation, and if the Fed just continues and they don't do nothing, in other words, if they just keep this switch on and they don't turn the switch off, the market's going to slowly get hotter and hotter and higher and higher and higher as you see your fiat currency lose purchasing power. So that manufacturing thing, I just pointed out on Zero Hedge. We can see that manufacturing is going up over 6% per year. That means the inflation rate's probably going to be hotter than that. So once inflation starts to really get set in and everybody sees, hey, it's inflation, then everybody starts to increase the speed of that inflation because they realize that saving money is out of the question. This is a best kind of environment for gold and silver and cryptos, to tell you the truth, But you just got to be careful with cryptos because realize if you're purchasing it, it's like going to a casino. You're gambling your money. Same way with the markets, But gold and silver is more of a stable place to put your money that's not going to move up or down so quickly and stuff. It's got more of a foundation behind it. I guess that's what I'm trying to say, Let's move on here and take a look at oil today. Oil's been basically going along sideways at 64.42. Yeah, I think oil's got $70 in it, even $80 in it. And I think the oil price, wasn't that really something when you saw the oil price go down to negative $40 during the crisis? Move index today, 58.47. Now we're going to take a look at bonds and rates. We're looking at falling yields today, and I believe that the long end of the yield curve, that the Fed has some sort of an effect upon the long end of the yield curve, even if they're not outright doing yield curve control. Something's going on. And we're seeing these rates on the U.S. 10-year at 1.66, down 3.4 basis points today, and the U.S. 30-year at 2.38. It's down 2.8 basis points today. And now we're going to finish off with the dollar, 90.76, and going along sideways today. Thank you guys for listening to my show. Like and subscribe, and we'll catch you guys in the very next episode. Bye-bye.